Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to welcome you to Real Christian Foundation's annual fundraising celebration. Real was established 24 years ago to assist rural Christian ministries overcome the challenges of exposure, resources, and structure. It does so by providing this much needed support to these deserving ministries in Mississippi. Because of the pandemic, the foundation has observed precautions to keep all of its entities safe. However, this has not stopped the works that are so significant to our ministries and students. In fact, so many achievements and accomplishments were attained with the creativity of Real staff. Your presence is so heartfelt and appreciated. Again, I welcome you, and I know you will enjoy the results of Real's hard work and dedication during this annual celebration.
You know, God has allowed us to be involved in rural ministries for 50 plus years. In Mendenhall, we learned a lot of things. One of the things we learned was the difficulty of raising money, the difficulty of getting exposure around the country, because that's where we had to go. When God put it in our spirit to build a foundation to support rural Christian ministries in Mississippi, we didn't want those ministries to be hanging out there by themselves. One of the things God put in our spirit was to start having a celebration dinner that we can bring these ministries together. So a ministry in Chula will be connected with a ministry in Mendenhall, and a ministry in Mount Bayou will be connected with a ministry in Mount Olive. What one ministry is doing, the other ministry can learn from them. So we began to talk about pulling together people to celebrate what God has been doing and to honor those people who've been involved in doing these ministries. We started adding fundraising to it because we recognize that this is the biggest event that we have when we come together. So we're excited about this particular event and excited about bringing together people so that people don't feel like they're alone when they're in small towns in Mississippi. So we wanted to have this celebration time to be able to expose people to each other, the people that God is using in these ministries.
Thank you, Ms. Rosie, for that welcome, and thank you both, Ms. Rosie and Dr. Weary, for the occasion. To all of you, I'm Shanda Roby, the president of Real Christian Foundation, and I'm so glad to have you join in with us as we celebrate our 2022 annual celebration event. You've heard how it started and why we do what we do. Now join us as we look back over 2022. We were so blessed, I just can't tell it all, but we'll try to give you a peek at how our year has been so far. We started off with the Good Friday Walk. Two of our ministries, one in Prentice and one in Chula, hosted them this year. A little later in the year, we were able to give away college scholarships to students around the state, as well as grants to 12 Christian nonprofits throughout Mississippi. My prayer for all of you is that God uses our story to touch your hearts according to His will and plan for your lives. Again, thank you for joining our story and stay tuned as we share.
Real Christian Foundation established the Reginald D. Weary Memorial Scholarship Fund after the untimely death of Dolphus and Rosie Weary's son in 2004. As a part of their healing process, they prayerfully considered ways to bless other youth from rural Mississippi. The interest from this fund is used to provide partial scholarships to students in rural Mississippi who are connected to community-based Christian ministries that Real supports. Students can use these scholarships to cover costs associated with attending boarding high schools, colleges or universities, technical schools, and graduate seminaries. The scholarships usually range from $1,000 to $2,000 per student. The RDW Fund was designed to help rural Christian ministries develop leaders. The hope is that these leaders will have a heart to come back, give back, or serve back in their communities. As of today, Real has provided over 60 scholarships to students associated with the rural community-based Christian ministries supported by Real. Here are the scholars for the 2022-2023 school year. If you would like to invest in the lives of future rural leaders, visit realchristianfoundation.org/donate-now, or you can give check or money order to Real through mail at P.O. Box 180059, Richland, Mississippi 39218. Real staff members Shanda Roby and Ryan Weary visited with leaders of Real's ministry partners to ask the question, what was the highlight of your ministry during 2022? Here's what they had to say.
The highlight of our ministry year this year was our summer camp program. We had a theme this year of experiencing Christ in 3D or in 3 dimensions. And that was a theme that we carried forward, and which basically spoke to the fact that Christ is more than just a person that can help you in your good times, your ups and your downs. And we kind of wanted to bring the idea of that Christ involved in your life. The abundant life is about Christ being involved in every aspect of your life, your decision making, the things you figure are too small that matter, just all ranges of the activities that you have in your life. We wanted to bring that message to the kids to advance their idea of experiencing Christ in their life. But it was rough getting to that point. And ministry is tough. Ministry can be tough to have the opportunity to get those kids in front of you, the things that have to take place. And this was a very challenging year. Starting back after COVID. We decided to go full-fledged with residential camp and just the whole program that we normally do. Just various challenges, but the Lord has seen us through them all. I think it turned out to be a fruitful summer, and I think some lives were impacted. And one of the things we see is the need is just still very much imminent. It's there. Kids need to hear about the gospel. They need to hear the truth. They need ministries like this one and other ministries associated with the Real Christian, where you have people who commit their time to working with these kids. And we thank the Lord for the privilege and the stewardship that He gives us to be able to extend ministry to hundreds of kids.
So the highlight of C2K Ministries in the year 2022, I would say, has been our volunteers and most importantly, our staff. Our staff is absolutely incredible and just awesome. They're the backbone of everything and how we do it. I'm happy to say that I don't have to spend a whole lot of time over at the program micromanaging. And quite honestly, I almost feel like I'm in the way when I am there. That's the big highlight.
The highlight of our ministry for 2022, there has been 2 highlights. The first highlight has been with the food pantry. We were able to connect with the program called BRIC. And the BRIC program is to offer nutritional foods and teaching people how to fix nutritional meals and how to work with what we receive at the food pantry as we work with Mississippi Food Network. And the second highlight of the ministry is working with REAL, which we are partners with REAL, but in REAL providing grant fundings for us in order to provide more things for our youth in the community. Although COVID hit us and we're not able to work with them one-on-one like we were in previous years, we're still able to mentor the students with the RDW scholarship funding. We were able to give that out, and not only that, providing the summer youth camp summit, we were able to connect with, we had about 60 students to participate in that program. And with that program, we was able to provide information about the schooling with some of the principals and the teachers there, and different other programs that they could get involved in. So those were the highlights of the ministry for this year.
Even though we wasn't able to meet face to face, we were still able to feed our seniors, and so everybody was reaching out, but we was that center point for them to reach to, so that we could pass out food to each and every person. And our young people, they are a blessing to us, because the children that we had mentored, most of them are in high school now. The younger kids, due to COVID, we hadn't had our opportunity to be face to face, but those that we have had an opportunity to mentor, they are doing exceptionally well.
The highlight for Promise Christian is that one is that we're back in person. When the pandemic happened, all the children were scattered. Of course, we were doing virtual, but it's different being in person. Seeing the children still be excited about God, the discipleship of the children continue to show up to dance, to do Bible studies, to text, to call, and saying that they're happy that they are back in person is one of our biggest accomplishments. I do have another one. We were able to take 7 of our children to Kids Across America, which is a really big deal for us, especially in this area. And just seeing our children be in that hype environment. I mean, they got awards, honey. They also were able to minister. And when I tell you the power of God went through, and it was just amazing. So those would be my 2. And my last would be seeing souls saved. Like when we're having our youth ministries and our youth chapels, and we're opening it up for rededication and salvation. Seeing those children with tears in their eyes say, what must I do to be saved? And that actually would be my greatest accomplishment, because all we have is to lay foundation, and plant those seeds in our children.
Well, the highlight of our ministry in 2022 was the initiative of Look, Learn, Listen, and Launch. That initiative allowed us to take our children on open-air concerts, courtyards, and museums. What we did is take them to, we had 4 during the summer, and we never had 4 field trips. But our Look, Listen, Learn, and Launch allowed us to take the children to other venues of Mississippi. And after we did that, we treated them to lunch.
And then we also did, on our Thursdays, we would do Battlefield of the Mind for kids and teens, which trying to get them prepared for, the bullying and everything that had been taking place. That I had noticed that it's a lot of things been going on with our youth, and they mind need to be stronger. So we found this book, Battlefield of Mind by Joyce Myers for teens. I had already read the one for adults years ago, and it helped me out a lot, so I figured it would do the same for the children. So we would have our mental section with the book. We would talk about it, allow the kids to express their opinions and what's on their mind, and then we would have hot lunches for them as well. And it actually turned out very well for the kids, and I actually learned a lot myself just listening to our teens, because I had a teen group, and the things that was going on in their mind and things they face. It was like, wow, after you get to be an adult, you don't even think about all that now, but because you put in your mind, okay, we're grown now, we made it, And we put to tell our children, you know, it's okay. Just go on, don't pay no attention, but the truth is they are paying some attention, and we need to equip them how to handle it.
The highlight for the year for Jefferson Davis Outreach Ministry. Coming back from Christmas, we was delighted to have the children that we had in the ministry that before they left, and they came back, and just to be back in school with the children and able to be able to have the bus to bring them to us every day. That it's been a blessing. Collaborating with the school, we could take them up there for breakfast and for lunch during the summer, and so it has been real good. And this year, the same thing. We have some of the same children back, and also we have babies now. I call them babies. They'll be my babies because they'll be first graders. And we have a few older children that's coming to us this year. So we're looking forward to a good year, a prosperous year. And we're excited. We getting the building ready for them, and as you can see around the signs that say be respectful and be helpful and be quiet as you work, you know, all the things that we try to teach them, you know, and so we're hoping that we are imparting into these children, and we're trying to get them ready for to be citizens, good citizens. And it grieves our spirit when we see so many children dropping out of school or doing things that they shouldn't do. And so we try to instill Christianity in them and not pushing it. And we don't teach any certain religion. All we teach them is Jesus Christ. And we tell them, if you go into a church that's talk about Jesus and how he died and rose again and how much he loved you, and that's what we talk to them about. We also, you know, with their youth creed, that's from taken from Psalm 134, I am fearfully and wonderfully made. And we try to instill that in them to know that the Lord didn't make a mistake. They are not a mistake, no matter what anyone say. They are all special to him, and they can do anything that they want to do. All they have to do is just try. And we are here to help them along the way.
The highlight of my ministry year here at JCCDA was a child named Elena Taplin. Grandfather called me that had heard about me through a classmate friend of mine, and they live in Rhode Island. And they're interested in moving in the area, but he's already registered her in my program for this upcoming year. I feel really great that Real Christian has allowed me to touch lives far and near and to help those students in other areas. She's very excited. She's a third grader, so she'll be experiencing some more Real Christian's resources through Mr. Ray Holt with STEM or robotics research. So I'm excited about that for this year, that we may be able to come out and get back into competition this year. But at this particular time, we go online, and I'm registered with Jackson State and students that go to Southwestern University. And they also help online with the students if they're having problems. If you can't reach us through our Zoom, then we do teleconferencing, but we reach out, and you know by 3:30 if you have homework that you should have reported in, ask for help, or just say I don't have an assignment today and my book reports or whatever is coming on fine, and we're existing.
Just looking at what we do, Mount Olive Ministry has been trying to build a new school for Grace Christian School. We've been trying to, all the things that we do, we've been trying to house all of our activities, after school program, our STEM program, our robotic program, after school. And so this year highlight has came. We was able to purchase 80 acres of land that came with 2 houses. And so that is the highlight of this year, to be able to have this property that will house all of our activities on one location. And so, and as of now, we're in the process of starting to develop that property. So we have Mississippi State at the table, and we have Trent Lott and some of his people at the table to help with some of the development. So we're looking at this year, that is the highlight for Mount Olive Ministry going forward.
The highlight of our ministry this year has been Genesis One Christian School being featured on WLBT. When we went to the robotics sumo competition, and our kids did a fantastic job of competing at an event that they had never been to before. So we had a couple of first place wins, a couple of second place wins, and our kids placed first among all the schools that were represented there. And we are incredibly excited about the opportunities that our kids are engaged in with STEM education and all of the things that we're doing at Genesis One.
So what's been the highlight for the ministry this year? There's been several highlights. One, we had a lot of our volunteers that could not come because of COVID to return back this year to assist with the kids. And we had one who could actually come during the summer, and they did a whole week presentation during the 6 weeks. The other highlight would be that we, from January up until now, we was able to help to get at least 500 local people vaccinated this year with the health fairs that we put on every month, along with our partners and other agencies that comes out and assist with that.
The highlight of our year since before COVID, we've got the number of kids that we would normally service, and we've got an overwhelming supportive parents this year, which I'm proud of. You know, this hadn't been seen before Mr. Reeves made his transition, Coach Reeves. And I'm just so excited. It's just got me a level of excitement of the old days, you know. But we've got good parent participation. The children are good, and we've got double our numbers. I think we've got about 35 boys and 11 girls. So that's really a highlight. So we're just proud of the kids and being able to work with those kids.
The highlight of the Quitman County Development Organization ministry has been the re-granting of our funding from this ministry. So we're indebted to Real Christian Foundation for staying with us for so many years.
One of the things I always say is that our ministries can tell their stories way better than we ever could. And one of the things I love about this job is having the opportunity to help people. But the fact is, Real needs the same type of help we provide for our ministries. And I thank the W.K. Kellogg Foundation for being one of those sources for that help. Here's a little about that project.
In August of 2019, Real Christian Foundation was announced as one of the grantees of the W.K. Kellogg Foundation's Catalyzing Community Giving Project, the only such organization from Mississippi and the only faith-based nonprofit included. The project is an initiative seeking to support locally driven philanthropy by communities of color and to redefine how those communities view philanthropy. Real has historically been supported by individuals and churches outside of Mississippi and individuals and churches that are majority white. Since the announcement, Real has been undertaking efforts to spread awareness of the project in the rural communities Real supports and to churches throughout the state. Despite the obstacle of COVID, God has been blessing the project. We have increased our individual donors of color in Mississippi and gained the support of 60 plus churches with majority black or people of color congregations. However, we still need your help. We have been given an additional year to reach our goal of gaining support from 100 churches with majority black or people of color congregations and believe that through God's grace, we can exceed that number. Philanthropy doesn't have to be relegated to the rich or have to mean that the amount given has to be high. The most important aspects are the heart behind the gift and the understanding to invest in the needs of a community. To give toward the project, you can give online at realchristianfoundation.org and click on the Kellogg Project, or you can send a check with Mississippi Gives in the memo to P.O. Box 180059, Richland, Mississippi 39218. For more information about the project and how to be counted among our church goal, call us at 601-932-1101 or email us at info@realchristianfoundation.org.
So did you get that? It just takes one donation if you're a Mississippian to help us with the project. And if you're not from Mississippi, it's okay. You can still help us, not necessarily with that project, but definitely with our mission. And speaking of helpers, at this time, we want to highlight two people who've given a lot to Mississippi and the communities where they live. We also want to take the time to thank people who directly helped Real through their volunteer service as well as sponsoring this event.
The Dolphus Weary Lifetime Achievement Award is awarded to an individual or group with 10 years or more of recognized accomplishments in Christian community development. The recipients of this award have devoted a significant effort over a range of time to be agents of Jesus on earth for the poor, disadvantaged, and underserved of rural Mississippi. The Rosie Weary Spirit of Ministry Award is presented to an individual, group, or organization with either unsung or little recognized efforts in Christian community development. The recipients of this reward have generously devoted a significant amount of their time and abilities in Christ-like service to the poor, disadvantaged, and underserved of rural Mississippi in order to bring about real change. Real Christian Foundation is proud to present the Dolphus Weary Lifetime Achievement Award to Ray Holt and the Rosie Weary Spirit of Ministry Award to Ernestine Skiffer, who have both made an impact in the Simpson County and surrounding areas. We will hear from Ernestine Skiffer, our Rosie Weary Spirit of Ministry Award recipient first, and then we will hear from Ray Holt, our Dolphus Weary Lifetime Achievement Award recipient afterwards.
I'm really humbled and I am inspired to receive the Rosie Weary Spirit of Ministry Award. And I am humbled because I know her, and I've been associated with her since I came to Mendenhall over 30 years ago. And so I've watched her serve. I've watched her serve faithfully. I watched her serve with integrity, often not even looking for anything in return. And if I can do half of that as I journey through life, then I'm very pleased. So I'm very humbled, and I appreciate the president and the team there for considering me for this award. Hope Christian Academy has been in existence since 2010. In 2010, Genesis One Christian School dropped back, and there were 4 little children. They were 4th graders that needed a place to be. And their parents came to me and asked me if I would start a school. And I'm like, no, can't do that. It's too short a time. But I told them if they did the legwork, I would do a homeschool setting for them. So we stumbled on the room that you're in now, and we started in 2010 with just 4 students. Since that time, we've developed a program that my heart's desire would be that ministers to children and their families educationally, because it provides a forum in which they can learn and grow and develop. Spiritually, because it provides an opportunity for one-on-one discipleship. Bible is an important part of what we do. And Christian living and Christian character is a core to what we believe. Giving kids the opportunity to grow and make mistakes and not be destroyed by them is very important to me. Our capacity here is about 20. We've always been at capacity except for during COVID and when we first started. It's community-based in the sense that I think my husband and I, of course, were the founders here, and I want to honor him in his absence. But every bit of work that has gone into this ministry has been with like-minded people who come together and work and serve. Everybody who comes, we work together, and it's not because of the money or the STEAM or whatever. It's really because we believe in education. We believe that children deserve a chance, and that some children just need a little bit different. They need a one-on-one, they need a smaller environment. And, my personal opinion is that all children need Jesus. That's just my personal opinion. If you were asked me the two things that have made the greatest impact on my life, one was coming to know the Lord at a young age, and the second was having an education that afforded me the tools needed to not only pursue my own dreams, but help other people to pursue theirs. And that's really what we're all about. Our theme here is helping others prepare for eternity. So that's how we came up with the name Hope. I appreciate Sister Weary and all that she's done. Again, just a woman of God that serves with authenticity, faithfully. It's my hope and my prayer that I will be able to continue in that spirit and finish the journey that God has called me to with that same spirit, just serving the Lord day by day, moment by moment, to the best of my ability. So I'm very humbled to receive this award.
I'm a product of California. I'm an electronic engineer, a computer scientist, and I became an educator when I hit Mississippi. I retired in 2000, and in 2010 I decided I would take a trip around the U.S. and called my friend Dr. Dolphus Weary. He said, well, while you're traveling, please come through Mississippi. I did, and I haven't left. I haven't completed my trip. When I got here in 2010, he said, I work with several ministries and all of them have computer problems. Would you try to fix them? So I took 2 weeks, I got them all fixed. And then we had lunch, and his next important question was, well, what do you think? I remember saying, what do you mean, what do I think? I'm on a trip. Well, if you'll consider staying 2 more years, I'll cover your costs. Well, by that time I had fallen in love with the ministries and the kids, and I already worked with the kids a little bit. And so I realized that I could probably help, especially the rural kids that don't have opportunity to learn technology. So I said yes. And I had my motorhome, so right here on this site at Mineral Ministries, I stayed for a year. In this very room, we had our first robotic club of 23 kids, and that was kind of the kickoff. So we did that for a year, and then I met Pastor Tony and Shannon Duckworth of Mount Olive, and we just knew something had to happen. We didn't know what. And so we talked quite a bit. And I finally said, well, how about we do a robotics club? And Pastor Tony said, well, I don't know what that is. Let me look it up and we'll talk tomorrow. So he looked it up and he goes, yeah, I think our kids can do that. So we started a Saturday program for about 20 of Mount Olive kids. We did it for, I think, almost 3 years. Well, our second year, we decided to enter into the state competition. Now, keep in mind, this is a town of about 800. We have 20 of the kids. They had not done technology. One of the girls that I met early on, she was an 8th grader. She did not know what the word engineer was. She did not know what college was. So I'll finish her story in a second. So we developed this team, and we actually had a pretty good working robot. A couple of the fathers helped out, and we went to the competition, which was at Ole Miss, and they ended up taking 2nd place on a particular award. Well, it was the first time for all of us, so we didn't, we were happy with 2nd place. But 2nd place meant you went to the World Championship. 2nd year team, small town. We go to St. Louis for the World Championship, 200 teams from all over the world. They ended up taking 13th in their category, and they were the highest scoring first-year team. So they did very well. But what was important to me and Pastor Tony was they did it. They can do it. You know, and it's just the environment that keeps the technology out. So maybe lack of equipment, maybe lack of teachers, maybe lack of facilities. So somehow if we could correct that problem, then maybe some of these kids can do okay and go to college and have a great career. Well, it's been like 10 years now. 8 out of 10 went to college. 2 went into the military. None of them dropped out of high school. Dropout rate is like 22%. The one girl I mentioned earlier, 2 years ago, she graduated in electrical engineering from Ole Miss. And it's, from my viewpoint, it's pretty hard to leave that. So I am more than grateful for this award. It's a huge surprise. I guess like a lot of recipients, I don't feel like I deserve it. You know, I'm in the middle of the work. The work's not over. There's a lot to do. But I thank the staff at Real for the recognition and the honor.
The staff of Real would like to thank the local advisory board, the executive board, and the sponsors of tonight's virtual celebration event for all the work that they've done over the year. Without your hard work, none of this would be possible. Shout out to this year's local advisory board that helps us plan and execute Real events. Shout out to our executive board for all of the support and guidance they have given us this year. And we send a special shout out to all of our sponsors tonight. Real couldn't do the work that it does without your contribution. Real Christian Foundation needs donors like you to continue the work of helping rural ministries succeed. The staff would like to thank the donors, the volunteers, and those that have been praying for Real and the ministry supported by Real. Thank you so much.
From the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for everything you do for Mississippi as well as for Real. And for those of you who are watching and wondering, okay, so how exactly does that help you help others? Well, once again, I think that the ministries can tell you better than we can. Take a look.
Real Christian Foundation has been a blessing for us. Being from a rural community, you don't find organizations like Real to center around poverty areas where there's not very much resources. So Real Christian it's like God sent Real Christian to help us struggling rural organizations keep and sustain our programs.
I would say the Real Christian Foundation need to exist because it opens its arms up to people, and it make opportunity. They give opportunity, and they are available for people in need. And I started working with Real years ago. Me and Dr. Weary and I can remember when we first met, and I told him what my goals were. And he said, well, just come see me. Just come see me, Mr. Wesley. And so I started attending the meetings, and we bonding with a friendship that has lasted forever. So the Real Christian Foundation is a foundation of love, and that's one thing I like about it.
Real has been a partner or a come alongside ministries. Ministries do not have the necessary educational understanding of how to be successful at running a ministry, and Real has come alongside those small ministries, giving them technical assistance, how to be successful at operating a ministry. And it has also been a major impact at giving those ministries small grant. Sometimes it's very stressful. It's depressing when you're trying to run a ministries and you don't have the how-tos. And when you're trying to understand the how-tos, there comes along a need for monetary resources to kind of get up and running. Or if ministry are up and running, a young ministry, those small grants and those technical support help ministries to have more self-awareness, more self-esteem that the task that God has given can be accomplished, because now you're not running this fight by yourself. And so Real become along as a partner, not to lead the fight, but come alongside the fight. And so to have a foundation that's willing to give you a monetary gift, that's good. But sometimes when you are stressing and you need some answers, Real also fill that gap to come alongside and provide answers and how-tos of how to accomplish certain things. So without Real, then you'll find a lot of ministries struggling and may have closed their doors because they didn't have a ministry to come alongside of them at that magnitude.
I believe Real Christian Foundation is very important because for us, when we first moved down to Mississippi, to Mountain Bayou, we didn't really know anything and stuff. So if it wasn't for going to a CDA conference in New Orleans, running to Miss Virginia and Miss Betty, and then telling us, oh, you need next week to come down, we would have never known. It was a stepping stone, a huge stepping stone, to help build our foundation and starting with our ministry and our after school program here in Mississippi. Especially in the smaller communities, it allowed us to meet other people who are like-minded to do God's work. And Real is able to provide the resources to help smaller communities like ours.
For one thing, when I look back at Real, and I look back at the lives that Real have touched and have given back to the community in a different community in different areas, I can picture over thousands of people they have impacted through the ministry. Some is financial, some maybe supplies or just spiritual talk and encouragement, even not just here, but out of state as well as local.
I believe Real Christian needs to exist because being in the trenches with a small nonprofit, Real Christian can help you get to the next step. And what I mean by that, Real Christian can offer hope, especially when you're plowing and you're doing the work and you don't know what to do. We've been with Real Christian or through this process for right at 2.5 to 3 years. And just to know that we were funded through building the rapport with Real Christian's organization. We were able to get $2,500, which we were able to do our GROW curriculum and our communications piece to help us to continue to communicate with our children. So I would say Real Christian It's helping small nonprofit organizations, or should I say ministries, just give us a beacon of hope that to keep pushing, to keep working with the children, and to believe that all things are possible with God.
Sometimes we overlook the importance of all of the components that need to come together in a community to make these things work, to make these outreaches work. And when we're working together as a team, then it's not so much of a burden on one ministry or so forth and so on. It's very difficult to do everything. But when you have the partnership, especially in the Christian context of an organization like the Real Christian Foundation that provides us with everything from resources financially as well as resources technically in terms of help with your board, help with your setting up your organization, their referral service for other volunteers you may need or people who may want to partner with your ministry. They are a networking benefit for the ministries, and that's extremely important because you only have so much time to do all of these things. And to have a Real Christian Foundation that's independent, they're not running a ministry, but they're there to support. And I'm just thankful to Shanda and the Real Christian organization just for their commitment to rural Christian ministries, and it's been a great help to us.
Real Christian Foundation should forever exist. It has warmed the hearts of many parents. Many parents can't afford to do the things that Real Christian has supported this ministry in doing. We're able to function with robotics, as I said. We have had some dinners where we go out and to do social things. Recently, we're trying to get ourselves set up to do thoroughbred racing with bear racing to introduce the children to some other cultural things in life. Real Christian is providing this for us by existing, that we know that rural Mississippi, the children go to church, but this is things that go beyond what they can achieve in this church here. Real Christian supports that. They're a great resource foundation. They've provided computers and broadband boxes in rural Mississippi for some of the students. But beyond it all, because of Real Christian, JCCDA is not taking a walk alone. They've come to take this walk with me at this time.
When we started back in 2016, I actually came out of my pocket with finances because I know I am in a rural area, and for 2 years we did that, and we were blessed that someone introduced us to the Real Christian Foundation. And after we were blessed with a grant from Real Christian Foundation, we were able to do so much more. Okay, there are going to be other nonprofits that's going to come after us, and they're going to be in the rural area. So the Real Christian Foundation needs to exist to me forever because of the fact that
because of their heart. I just think we're put on this earth for a purpose, and Real Christian Foundation is living in their purpose, helping others pursue their purpose.
Exactly, and I do believe that, and I really feel this in my heart, that once we are able to sustain financially, we will be able to give back to the Real Christian Foundation because we want them to continue. We really, y'all are awesome. That's all I got to say about that.
Real Christian existence. I get emotional when I talk about Dr. Weary, Miss Weary, how they worked so hard to find that ministry, and how their heart went out for children in rural Mississippi. And that's the love that I have also for. My heart goes out to the children in rural Mississippi. If it wasn't for Real Christian Foundation, we started, I believe, with them back in 2002. And we were just starting and didn't have any funds, trying to find our way, because Tony said, you got a dream, you have a vision go for it, go to work. And so we said, okay, we ready to go to work. And so Real came along beside us. They had the training for us. We was able to go to the gatherings with them, participating with them, meeting other people, meeting other ministries, and sharing and collaborating. And so it's been real stability. And I pray that they would be around a long time to help, because I know there are some other young people out there want to do something like this, because that's my son do, and others, they have a dream and they have a vision to help others, and so they can reach out to Real, and Real have some technology and some information that they can use and some contacts, and so Real Foundation, I want them to be around a long time.
Why does Real Christian Foundation need to exist is because it's rural in nature, it's faith-based, and it works with ministries in these rural communities. And we don't have a lot of resources or sources to go to, and so Real is in a very unique position.
Real Christian Foundation is important to us as a ministry because Real provides resources that we don't have here at our ministry. And we probably don't even have those resources in our community. So the possibility of us acquiring some of the things that our ministry needs in terms of board development, in terms of having resource people that we can go to talk to about things that we don't do every day, or financial resources that may become available, or expertise, because we've had some representatives from Real Christian Foundation to come and do training with our staff members. Those things are invaluable. You don't get those everywhere, and you don't get them every day. And so Real has been a critical partner for us as a ministry. And we are very excited to participate with Real in any way that we can to continue to have these kind of resources available to ministries like ours.
Well, that's a little bit of our journey this year. I pray that something you heard or something said blessed you. But if not, you won't leave without a blessing, because at this moment, I say, God bless each and every one of you. Thank you so much for your time and your attention. Please keep us in your prayers as we strive to carry out our mission. And we pray that God will bless and keep you as you hopefully strive to live out His plans for your lives. Goodbye.